There you go.
Morena koutou, nau mai hara mai ki konei mo tēnei hui, o te policy and planning. Nā te mihi tino mihi atu ki a koe, Andy, ko koe te kono matua o tēnei kāwanatanga hui. Nā te me he mihi hoki ki a koutou katoa. Morning everybody, just to say we have had our welcome prayer this morning for our workshop. Apologies, have we received any apologies for our hui this morning?
Councillor Wong.
Yeah, so just to acknowledge Councillor Wong, who's online at the moment, and to everyone and the extra councillors that are around the table that aren't necessarily within the policy and planning hui. Good to see you. Of course, today's hui is going to be, we're going through the submission process, hearing submissions on the smoke-free and vape-free policy. We have 3 with us today, but before we go there, I just want to acknowledge our public forum and the people that have turned up this morning. No mai hara mai. Conflicts of interest declarations. So I've got a conflict of interest declaration as the Hauwhakahaere of Mōkai Pātea Services. If I can have that added into our conflicts. Anybody else around the table with conflicts? No. So as far as the confirmation of order of business, we've got our 3 submitters that are sitting around the table. One to start at 11:20, another at 11:30 and 11:40. But I'm going to hold this now, hand this over to Jenna to carry on. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you. So Council adopted the draft smoke-free and vape-free policy in March after the committee recommended to Council that we consult on the policy. So consultation ran from 31st of May to the 1st of July. During this time, we received 13 submissions. 3 of these submitters chose to speak today at the hearing. I'll just note that we also consulted on the draft signs in public places bylaw at the same time and set aside time for any submitters to speak to that one today as well, but we didn't receive any submissions who chose to speak. I just note that the meeting today is just to hear the submissions, and deliberations will be held at the next policy planning committee meeting next month.
Thank you, Jenna. And just for submitters information, you have 10 minutes to present. Within that time, so if your time is 5 or 6 minutes, that means that there's an opportunity, 4 minutes at least, there is a timer that's been put on for questions that might come back to you from council. Okay. Excellent. Well, if we can call, you can either sit there or we've made space down at the bottom for submitters. So our first submission up is Health New Zealand, Te Patuora, Samuel Woolston. Welcome. Samuel.
Come right here, inshallah. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Nā mihi mana mahana kia koutou. My name is Sam Yorston and I'm a Health Promotion Advisor for Health New Zealand, Te Patuora. I'm the Smoke-Free and Vape-Free Health Promotion Advisor in the Whanganui District. Thank you for the opportunity to present on your submission for the draft Smoke-Free and Vape-Free policy. Health New Zealand is committed to improving, promoting and protecting the health of our people and communities as a part of our statutory obligations under the Pai Order Act of 2022 and the Health Act of 1956. We are focused on embedding Te Tiriti or Waitangi to improve health outcomes for Māori and all communities. We believe that Rangitikei District Council's draft policy is an important step towards creating healthier, more resilient communities, aligning with our commitment to reducing inequities and promoting good health, particularly for Māori, Pacific peoples, disabled peoples and rural communities. We support the Council's draft smoke-free and vape-free policy, which contributes to your community outcome of promoting healthy and resilient communities. Smoking and vaping continue to contribute to inequitable health outcomes, but particularly, and your efforts to support smoke-free Aotearoa 2025 are commendable. It is crucial to highlight that New Zealand has some of the highest vaping rates in the world across all demographics. And this alarming trend makes the Council's work to denormalise vaping and support better health outcomes all the more vital. Māori communities in particular face significant disparities, with Māori being 3.3 times more likely to be daily smokers and 2.5 times more likely to be daily vapers compared to non-Māori. Following are some recommendations for the policy. Number 1, public education and messaging under section 1.4. Health New Zealand can actively support the council in promoting positive public education messaging. We can provide support for the dissemination of signage and educational materials designed specifically for the rangatira community. Effective public education is vital to encourage smoke-free and vape-free behaviours across all demographics. Number 2, signage and compliance under section 2.1. We recommend that the council's signage include a QR code linking directly to stop smoking services and Health New Zealand's vaping complaint page. This addition will assist community members to seek support to quit smoking and vaping and enable community members to report instances of vaping non-compliance with a focus on addressing youth vaping. This measure will be an effective tool in empowering the rangatira community to take action of their own health. Section number 3, council leadership and facility policies under section 5.1b. The draft policy mentions exceptions to the council facilities that allow smoking and vaping for area for staff. To demonstrate true leadership in promoting a smoke-free and vape-free district, we recommend removing these exceptions. Consistent leadership requires facilitating smoking. Consistent leadership requires not facilitating smoking and vaping areas and on council properties. We also suggest removing any reference to ashtrays in section 5.1. They are unnecessary and contradict the goals of the smoke-free and vape-free policy. In conclusion, the draft policy is a strong positive initiative, and Health New Zealand looks forward to supporting its implementation. Together, we can work towards reducing smoking and vaping behaviours, ultimately creating a healthier, more resilient community in the rangatira. Thank you for considering our recommendations. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide further clarification. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou.
My question regarding the QR codes you mentioned, has this system been in place? Has it been tried? Have you got
Not
it?
yet, but it's currently a project under.
Would be the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So actually it's being put out right now. So Palmerston North City Council, Tararua, Horizons and Wanganui are all currently
Looking at it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Councillor
Kia ora, Sam, thank you. You talked about denormalising vaping.
Yeah.
You also talked about helping to disseminate the education materials.
Yeah.
Signage.
Yeah.
You talked about the majority of your clients being Māori and Pacifica. Will those signages be in Te Reo and Pacifica?
Yes.
First and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Kia ora.
Yeah. So they will have the Oahei kore or Hakoho kore. So no vaping, no smoking, which we can provide absolutely.
Kia ora, Councillor Duncan.
Thank you. Kia ora. My question is around the QR codes also.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you have, I have two parts if I may. Do you have does Health New Zealand have the capacity to follow up on any offending that's reported?
Yes, they do. So we have smoke-free environmental officers. So they are ones who carry out CPOs, so compliance. I forget what they actually the CPO. So they send in the youth to try buy vapes, and it's a procedure to see who's complying and not complying with the vaping rule of being gives to be over 18 to go and purchase a vape. And yeah, more are underway to be employed. They're currently based in Palmerston North, and we have 4 for the region. So yes, they will be followed up.
Thank you, Councillor Duncan. Second question.
Thank you. So I have a concern around that because you're accumulating information on our youth offending. Are you actually then creating youth offenders in this, and how long will that information be held?
So can you please clarify creating?
With the reporting, encouraging people to be reporting youth, particularly around youth vaping.
Yeah.
These youth will be followed up on, so information will be held on the youth. How long will that information be held, and are we then creating youth offenders as such?
Well, no, it's not personalised. It's compliance for the distributors, so the shops. There's nothing to do with
Distributor.
individuals. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Your worship.
Now,
Question?
just a clarification around the rules for me here. So a shop selling vaping products that has an age restriction, it has to be a separate business, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So if you have, for instance, an existing grocery shop or dairy that then puts a second door into the premise and walls off an area, but they're effectively in the same registered building, is that in your definition of a separate premise?
It is. It's a specialised vape retailer. Yeah. So yeah, it's a specialised vape retailer, and only people over 18 can enter those premises.
Even though it's operating within the same registered outlet.
Yeah, but if there's two separate entrances,
Yeah.
it's two separate premises.
Hello, Sam, nice to see you. Okay. There was an article on National Radio last week, and I apologise, I just caught the headline, but the headline said that a recent research project established that vaping is better for the members of the household than smoking, for example. So children within a household who has a parent that vapes, for example, are better off than children in a household that a parent smokes. How does that relate to your desire to have vaping in, for example, the council premises where someone might vape in a community space?
Sort of thing. So vaping, as we see it, is a harm reduction tool for smokers and for only smokers. So anyone who's never smoked should never have been touching a vape, and that is where our problem with youth vaping has come in, because people who haven't previously been smokers and youth are now touching the vapes, and that's where So it was obviously originally vaping came out as a tool as harm reduction for smoking, which it still is, but it's got into the wrong demographics.
We've got just on 1 minute.
Quick question, Sam, so do you enforce like the rules that is there an enforcement, is there a cost? We're talking like people, to the shop owners, when they sell to vapors underage or something like that, do you enforce it? Does Whātua to enforce
Yeah.
those fines or whatever it is?
Yes, they do. So that's where the smoke-free enforcement officers come in. They come under health protection.
Right.
And they can go in, they have the power to give a fine on the spot, and then they can be taken to court as well.
It's not just the shops, it's anywhere that's smoke free.
No, like as in
Not in
people.
premises like buildings.
No, yeah. That's a compliance thing, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, for your submission and for your feedback. And thank you everyone for your contribution into this corridor. And we will be back in touch with you. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Well done. Right, our next submission up is from Mokai Party Services and Mirania Pia. Thank you. Well done.
Nei rā timihi nui ki a koutou nā pau o te kaunihira, mō tēnei wā ki te kōrero i tēnei tāpaitanga I raura o te kaupapa here o awahi kore. Many blessings and greetings to you all, councillors, and thank you for this time to deliver our submission under this kaupapa of smoke-free and vape-free policy, the draft. Ko me rāni a hau, ko ai te pautare o Mokai Pātia Services. My name is Mirania. I'm the Office and Ops Manager for Mokai Pātia Services. We're one of the 5 iwi providers that work in the previous Whanganui DHB catchment area. We provide whānau order services to the rohi pōtai o Mokai Pātia, which encompasses all Taihape. The aspiration for our service is for our whānau to become self-autonomous in their health and their well-being, social all of those areas through our use of navigators that provides access to networks, support services, guidance, etc., to give them the tools and their kiti to succeed in health and life. And in doing that, they become self-autonomous, they step out into the community and they become the example for the rest of the community to follow and lead their own life-changing situations. Me kore koe katu kua wihe au I te pō. If you hadn't stood up, I would have been lost in the darkness. And so that's what we're doing. We're standing up and trying to guide people to better positions in life. Ooh. So I stand here today in support of this mission that was put forward by Mokai Pātea Services, which I believe you've all read. As a whānau order health service, one of our priorities is to help guide our whānau towards smoking cessation as an option. So in terms of the registration of a whānau into our service, there's huge conversations about what areas you need help in, what areas you'd like to stop or increase. Of course, with smoking being such a big thing in our country, especially in terms of Māori Pacifica peoples, our role is to help people find a better way. And of course, we start off with the nicotine replacement therapy options, of which vaping is, of course, one of the preferred ones these days. And then try and guide them into the gums and the lollies and the lozenges, and then alternate at the end of the day, nothing. What we are kind of seeing on the horizon is that, much like with smoking, how it took years and years and years for information to come forward about the after effects, side effects. Vaping is still this new unknown thing. There's who knows what the after effects, side effects of that is. And so the preference is to promote nothing, to move forward in life and just exist. We had training from a person that told us that those of us that are reformed smokers, the action that we actually miss is the breathing, the standing outside and just breathing and thinking, and that moment of clarity that happens when you, for those that smoke, inhale. For those that don't smoke, just stop and take a breath, which I clearly need to do right now. Obviously, the battle doesn't get any easier with the introduction of vaping and lolly flavors and bright shiny utensils and that sort of thing. So all we can hope to do is provide whānau with good health education and good health promotion. And this starts with our policies for all our programs, with everything being smoke, alcohol, drug and violence-free occasions, family-friendly. If the more we promote it, hopefully the more people see it and it just becomes normality, much like the use of te reo in conversation. Kia ora.
Other questions? Thank you, Marania. Councillor Duncan.
Kia ora. Thank you, Mararia. So you're saying that should council adopt this this policy, this will support all your events, etc. And for instance, in your area, in your rohe.
Absolutely. Well, our policy is already aligned with it. So wherever we hold our events, council properties, non-council properties, that's our line. Smoke-free, vape-free, always.
Thank you. Councillor Lambert.
Oh, yes, just the program you've got to keep people off smoking onto vaping onto sweets. You give them timelines? Like you say, right, you're on the vape now it's time to move to the lollies, or?
Well, as much as we'd love to give them a timeline, people move at their own speeds.
Oh, they do, but you do say, well, come on.
Yeah. There's definitely encouragement. We can't poke the bear, but it doesn't stop the bear being angry. So it's just, guidance, support.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so you give them a goal, say
aspirations.
ultimately we want to see you to vape, to lollies, to
smoke free,
smoke free. Yeah. Oh, that's good. So as long as there's
a timeline, and then it's the aspirations. You're doing this not just for you, but for your partner.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no.
Councillor Marton.
Thank you. Just on that question, your programs for stopping smoking and vaping, do you coordinate with DHB, Sam, for example, on?
At the
on
moment,
this
our
issue?
closest interaction is with our local NRT supply person, which is based at Taipi Health Limited. Definitely would be interested in working with Te Whatu Ora in terms of the provision of information and resource out to our community. I mean, the more information you throw out there, the more information people have. If it's targeted at youth, if it's targeted at kaumātua, whole community targets, that is the goal, to have our community smoke-free and healthier.
Thank you. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you, Marania, for your submission and for speaking for your submission. We will be back in touch with you. Kia ora. The last piece in the last submitter is Joe Ranguni.
Sit up front.
Who do you want me?
You want to?
Okay.
You're used to that seat, aren't you?
Brian's
Well, I'm an old one back again. Tēnā koe, Joe, and welcome around our table. We'll look forward to hearing your submission on this kaupapa.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I'm representing myself and I'm me. I'm not representing an organisation. And one question I almost feel I should ask, is anyone paid by the, who was it, Phillips or something? I just feel one of our problems today is lobbyists and people paying money to our politicians and whoever to influence decision making. I'm really pleased that the council has this policy. I think it shows leadership. And I think if we can have leadership from our council, that's a good thing. Now I'm older, I've got quite a lot of time to read. And I read somewhere, I think it may be in the Guardian, that someone had chemicals found in vapes in their, well, some part of their body. And the only way those chemicals could have entered the body was through vaping, because they vape. Vaping is, I think, quite insidious. Yeah, and there isn't much long-term research. So this is where people perhaps have opinions. I mean, smoking took quite a while, and then there was research and we knew what was what and the harm it was causing. But I don't think people doubt today that there are big risks with the chemicals in vapes. And I was talking to my 40-year-old niece this morning, and she said her friends who were getting off smoking were going into vaping and liking vaping. So obviously we need a different solution. I noticed in Bulls in a certain place, there's big trucks parked, and I thought, yes. And I think the big trucks go down the back and get their vapes and sit and vape. And how good is that for us? I mean, what are big trucks doing around our district? I notice their presence, and as an older driver, I've just got to concentrate on everything. So that adds to the issues. Yeah, and I think this links with vaping and mental health. Again, it's not proved. Some people vape to help their mental health and headaches and whatever they've got. But it would seem that it is probable that vaping will add to people's mental health issues. So I garden and have good mental health. I just wish people who vaped. And I mean, the cost, they're not cheap. And there's all these attractions. I sat in Palmerston one day and noticed a vape shop. Interesting. Oh, and I've sat in Fielding and people go in and out, and old ones who should know better and goodness knows who. So, yeah, good on the council. Well done. I think it's a leadership move.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions, please? Okay, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, with all this introduction of this new legislation and signs and everything else, are we going to see down the track that, you know, it's actually working?
I think an awareness is always good. And I think things like vape free, I think no smoking and no vaping. Some people think no, that's a signal to do it. So I think it's quite smart to put vape free and smoke free and those sort of, but definitely sports grounds and that. I think there's no place for it. There's no place for it in front of children. It's absolutely disgraceful. And apparently in cars, you get oil in the windows. Well, how good is that for your children? And I do think today there's a lot of misinformation. A lot of people make decisions. I hear the old people talking bulls, and I think, where did you get that information? You know, there's no fact in sight. I'm all for evidence-based information and making decisions on that.
Thank you, Councillor Duncan.
So on that note, thank you. The education respect component that Health New Zealand are saying that they would support, you're saying that that would be a really good thing for more information.
Well, the more you do and try, I mean, who knows? I was in education for years and I don't know anything. But if you don't try, and if you don't put information out, and maybe work with people you're trying to target to find what information might work for them.
Excellent. Any other questions? On the table? No? Oh, well, thank you, Joe, for your submission. And like I've said, we will be back in touch with you around. So, with that, I just want to thank everyone again for making the time and effort to come into council to give your verbal submission. And as I've said, we will be in touch with you once it's gone through a proper council meeting. So, in that, I'd like to call our meeting. Well, apologies, because I've just seen there I've missed something. So the recommendation that the report hearing of submissions on the Smokefree and Vapefree policy be received. Thank you, Councillor Lambert. Thank you, Councillor Dave. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
With that recommendation being carried, I'd like to call this meeting to a close at 11:43 AM.
Thank you.
Thank you.